What an incredibly fun weekend of rugby league in Australia, England, and down over in the south of France. We saw a lot of action, a lot of breathtaking footy, a few things we've all come to expect from the sport over the years. You have the Penrith Panthers now rounding into championship form for the fourth consecutive year. And then, of course, we have Tariq Sims doing Tariq Sims things. He may have actually been a bit hard done by the send-off here, but when you have Sims' reputation, I mean, Sims is now infamous across rugby league, everywhere in the world. Like, when you have that reputation, you really need to be minding your P's and Q's. Anyway, the real star of the rugby league world over the past few days has been the intercept try. There have been an almost obscene number of these in just a few days span. So let's just be real here. If you've watched this channel, you know I'm not a rugby league expert. I'm a guy who enjoys the sport, who's getting into it, who's learning more about league, but I by no means know everything there is to know. However, I did feel like this was an almost outlandish comical number of intercept tries over one round. Normally, from my experience, you get maybe one or two intercept tries between the NRL and Super League each week. This weekend, we got count them, 6 intercept tries. Actually, though, I'd argue this total was 7 intercept tries, although Purest and pedants will disagree with me on that. We'll discuss that, though, later on in the video. Intercepted. All right, this is an American football, but it's good enough for illustration purposes. We begin our look at the round of the intercept try over in the Super League, where we actually got a matchup of a game that will be coming to Las Vegas next year. Although let's hope that meeting is far more competitive than what took place over the weekend. Wigan were outclassed by an increasingly impressive Warrington under Sam Burgess. On this day, the Wolves managed not one, but two, count them, 2 intercept tries. And really, they were just sort of equally spread out. There was one in each half, one for each winger. It was just this weird intercept try synergy. We start with Matty Ashton in what is a pretty routine intercept try, all things considered. He reads the play really well, but the pass here was never on. Ashton then has quite the trek to get the 4-pointer, but I don't think you would say he was troubled on that journey. It was pretty, again, like I said, routine. However, it is Wigan coach Matt Pete's reaction to the play that really says it all. In the second half, after some fisticuffs between the two sides, Warrington was back at it. Same side of the field, but everything else here is mirrored. Josh Thulis takes advantage of some rushed play from Wigan and is off to the races. This foot race, though, it's a little more dicey. Thulis does almost get caught, but eventually he grounds the ball. It's try time for Warrington, and yeah, there is 2 intercept tries for Warrington in that game against Wigan. The Manly Sea Eagles must have watched what Sam Burgess's boys were up to and said to themselves, you know what, we can do one better, literally speaking. After Warrington's 2 intercept try performance against Wigan, Manly grounded a trio of tries after intercepts against the Roosters. We start the three-peat with Tommy Talau and a very stylish one-handed grab to get this play started. With his hand on the football, no Rooster was really catching him. He just had way too much of a head start on Dom Young and James Tedesco. There is one thing I want to point out about this try. What is up with the Manly? I don't know if they're ball boys, they're just teen staff. There were just a bunch of kids on the field in Manly gear running, trying to keep up with Talau, which, by the way, a total fool's errand. One kind of kept it a little close, but yeah, as I was watching this live, I actually got distracted by those kids just running down the sideline, like helplessly trying to stay with Talau. But that is only the first of 3. The initial reaction to watching the second intercept try the Sea Eagles scored against the Roosters would be to think Luke Keary suffered a rush of blood to the head, making a terrible pass. And that was really my first reaction. You know, watching this live, I was like, oh, that's a terrible pass. What is Keary doing? But when you watch it a few more times, it's actually far more nuanced than that. Clayton Fuwalo does an excellent job of baiting the Roosters 5/8 into making that pass. You can see him here. He's ducking. He holds back a bit. He's really wanting Keary to make that mistake. This is as much about Fuwalo just making a really heads-up play here, being very intelligent and getting Keary to throw the pass that he would go on to intercept. By the way, this was only Fualo's second first grade game in the NRL, which is kind of, I was stunned by that. I knew that, but it was just like, for him to do this, for him to make a play of this intelligent really belies his years, his experience at the first grade level. That being said, this is still an inadvisable pass given the score and game situation. Keary just had no business throwing this pass, even if he thought the line break was on, if he could get the ball out to the wing and shift it out, that the Roosters would go on to gain some huge territory, maybe even score. It just wasn't the time and place for that pass. Keary had apparently learned nothing because roughly 2 or so minutes later, he hooked another try-intercept pass, this time Daly Cherry Evans being the recipient. In fairness, DCE is an absolute just genius legend when it comes to the intercept try. The Manly captain just has a growing collection of intercept tries in his portfolio of work. He knows how to get this done. And for this one against the Roosters, I really just think the way he read this play, stopped the ball, caught it in basically one motion in 1 or 2 seconds was really amazing. Now, was DCE offsides? That is a matter that has been hotly debated, but it wasn't called on the field, so you just have to go with it. Finally, I just can't help but appreciate the fact that Cherry Evans is able to turn so many of his intercepts into tries. DCE still has some pretty impressive wheels. He doesn't break them out all of the time, but yeah, when he gets his hand on that ball and starts just trekking it down to the other side of the field, more often than not, he gets to the try line. So again, at his age, just his wear and tear over the years, absolutely great. And to me, this is one of the things I enjoy most about watching him play, is just his positioning, his knowledge of what's going to happen, being 2 or 3 steps ahead of the other team sometimes. We are not done with the try-intercepts. While no one was topping what Manly did, back over in England, more was to come. Castleford took on the Salford Red Devils in a game on Sunday that I really enjoyed. Back and forth, very open, very much your classic Super League contest. Not the most perfect, not a sound game by any means, but a lot of fun to watch from a neutral perspective. Just action, entertainment, kind of what we've all just know and love about the Super League now. With Salford trailing by for the Red Devils, Ethan Ryan finds himself in the right place at the right time for the intercept. He then busts out a spin move to break free of a tackle. Castleford is hot on his heels here. You think he might get caught. You kind of think Ryan thinks he's about to get caught because he thinks about throwing the pass, even throws a dummy, but eventually he makes it to the try line, grounds the ball, and collects the 4 points, which tied this matchup up. The catch and spin here by Ryan, absolutely sublime. All one motion, and it basically is what springs him free. It allows him to start heading towards the try line. Without it, if he's more flat-footed or he's not catching it in that spinning motion, there's no way he scores on this play. While these are the 6 official intercept tries we saw on the weekend, there's a 7th play I am going to highlight here because I feel that it very much counts. I'll admit, it's not a traditional intercept try, but the spirit is there. To see what I am talking about, let's visit Australia again, where the Melbourne Storm took on the Parramatta Eels. In the first half of this contest, we saw Melbourne hooker Harry Grant catch the ball midair on a knock-on and then run it back for a try. Personally, I feel like we should count this. It's not a true and blue intercept try. Yes, it's a knock-on. Harry Grant just happened to catch and run back for the try, but the spirit of the play is very much the same, and that is why I'm highlighting it here. Not definitionally speaking an intercept try, but damn if it isn't the closest thing to it that could happen on a footy field. Regardless of where you stand on that argument, this weekend wasn't all about the intercept try. In fact, there is a moment from the Huddersfield Giants Leeds Rhino game that I want to highlight here. This game was a blowout, and after another Leeds try, a bit of a kerfuffle breaks out between the two teams, just your classic rugby league skirmish. Because this happened directly after a try, we get a camera shot of the referee, the traditional shot where they're just waiting for him to signal try or no try. The official has no interest in doing that though. Instead, he is just side-eyeing the brouhaha unfolding before him. He looks like a teacher letting things play out between misbehaving students before waiting to break everything up. I got a bit of a chuckle out of that just because I've had teachers look at me like that, just with that curious disdain as to what stupid thing you're doing as an 8, 9, 10-year-old. And make no mistake, I think that look, the side-eye look of just, what are these idiots doing? And I gotta stop this from the referee in the Huddersfield Leeds game. Just absolutely, I enjoyed it. There you have it, another good weekend of rugby league in the books as the NRL and Super League seasons hit the home stretch. There is still a lot of great action to come this year, but I would bet against another weekend featuring 6 or maybe even 7 intercept tries happening. I just don't think that is in the cards. Thank you for watching this video. If you'd like to know more just about the Jekyll and Hyde nature of the Manly Seagulls over the past few years, video upper right hand corner of your screen, and to find out why I'm a bit skeptical of the NRL's plans for Las Vegas in 2025, video lower right hand corner. Until next time, I am Shane Hollis. This is the Touchback, and as always, hashtag take it out the 25.